That's the best one of the year, for us, to come into this building with this incredible fan base at Ole Miss. We all recognize, that those that don't recognize that, I think there's a lot of respect between the two schools. A lot of Auburn kids go to Ole Miss, and there's some Ole Miss kids that go to Auburn, and it's a healthy rivalry. I want to compliment Janai Broom in a couple of ways. I want to compliment him in the first half because even though he didn't put up any dominating numbers in the first half and got a little bit of foul trouble, his demeanor, when Ole Miss was making shots and had a position, was in a position to run us out of the building, his play, his body language, the way he was in the huddle, just there was no panic. I think the rest of the guys kind of fed off that. Chad Baker had some of that as well. We've talked about this team as being the sum of its parts. And so if you look up and down, look at the guys come off the bench. Look at Chad Baker come off the bench and score and play with great confidence. He's plus 20 coming off the bench. KD Johnson and Chad had some health issues this week and missed practice. KD had strep throat and missed practice Thursday. Was better, obviously today, but didn't play a lot in the first half. Came back in the second half, and you just could see the will to win. You could see it, and obviously that bodes well. We talked about if we are really going to think about having a chance to compete for the conference championship, really, then we got to win one of these, like one that nobody else is going to win. Like I don't think anybody else is going to come in here and win. Maybe. I'm not sure who they have here. The next game's at home, but, one of the top 3 or 4 teams. So this was a separator for us and something obviously going to give our kids some confidence as what do we play Alabama at home on Wednesday, and then we got to go to Florida. So it's not going to get easy. We're going to take it one at a time, but this was an important one.
There's 56 points in the second half for y'all. I mean, you got a lot of inside touches. Just what was the difference for you guys, you thought, in the second half compared to the first on offense?
Without Sharp, they were small, and we took advantage of it. But not everybody could take advantage of it. Not everybody has Janai Broom. And he was able to go in there and seal and just have his way on the inside. And even though we talked in a scouting report that they're second in the nation in block shots, and we talked about some inside-out things if those two centers were out there. In other words, I'm saying to Janai Broom, we're going to get into you, but you may get doubled and you got the shot by. There may be some inside-out. He was fine, But when he got it in there and he got it in there deep, he was patient and he scored. I thought they'd come down on him a little bit more. They played him a little more one-on-one than they did the first time. And he just was the difference on the inside. But then some other guys made shots and then made some plays. I think the key is the fact that when they were making shots in the first half, and they were, and we only turned them over twice in the first half, it was only 9. We were still in range, and this team shot a lot of heart, a lot of character, and to come back and have 25 assists, that's pretty basketball.
Daniel, then Henry.
BP, you guys had 6 guys post double figures today. How beneficial is it to have that much diversity in scoring?
I think it's the key to our season, and I think as much as anything, as they begin to have confidence in each other now. They recognize, hey, KD can make a difference coming off the bench at any time. Chad Baker is a really, really good player that's so versatile, make plays on both ends of the floor. And then you got a veteran like Jalen Williams, but in the first half, didn't play as great. Cheney Johnson's out there playing and defending and posting up and making plays. We took a step tonight. I mean, tonight was a step. Now we'll see if we got to take another step on Wednesday when we play the first place team. We'll be playing for first place on Wednesday in February. It's good.
Bruce, after kind of a tough first half defensively, you only allowed them 33 points on 38% shooting. What was the difference in y'all's defense between first half and second half?
Well, they were fresh and furious early. Obviously, fatigue was a factor. They made some good shots. They made some tough shots. I went at halftime and just told the guys they played great. Ole Miss played great. I don't know if they can play. I don't know they'll play that way again. We talked, but they played great, and it's just 9. we right there. And they believed it. Now we said, we gave them 44 points, turned them over twice. Come on, really? We're not going to come in here and win like that. So I just thought it was a calm locker room. It was a business-like locker room. But again, more than anything else, my confidence in them jumped a notch tonight. It did. And their confidence in themselves should jump a notch.
Question up front.
Yeah, Coach. So Coach Beard said that he thought the better conditioned team won tonight. Can you talk about the depth of your team and how that helped you guys as it got later?
Yeah, I mean, they played 7 guys double-digit minutes, and we played 10, you know? And so I do think fatigue be a factor, so I agree that we were fresher in the second half. But it's just like, it's like Janai and Dylan. I mean, Janai got in some foul trouble, and when he picked up his 3rd foul, I didn't want to have a chance to get inside, pick up his 4th inside of 8. I trust him to not, but I took him out 3 times. He would have loved to have stayed in there. Dylan went in there, got a couple defensive possessions. He stayed out of foul trouble, and then he was fresh enough to be able to close. And that's just trusting me and trusting his teammates. And but they've got to see it work in order to be willing. And at the same time, you know, and Janai's here, listen, if you're right and fatigue was a factor, well, then let's do that against Alabama on Wednesday now. You know, if that's going to, we got to be able to finish. And I thought we finished the last 10 minutes of the second half was beautiful basketball on both ends of the floor.
Greg?
You were very complimentary about Ole Miss. This is now your second time, seeing them. What I guess kind of sticks out the most about them? You kind of touched on it a little bit here, but through 2 matchups, what sticks out the most about them?
Well, first of all, Chris Beard's a great coach. He's got a great staff. And, you know, it's hard to develop culture in 6 months. But I told him before the game, I said, what you've done in 6 months took me 3 years to do at Auburn. You know, and this crowd, this environment, the town last night, I went out to the grocery store for dinner. I know it's something else. It's not just the grocery store, whatever it is. Man, it's nice. You know, it's big time. Fans were out, but they were all really respectful. Got a good thing here. And so it was a big weekend, sold out crowd, and this was as hard an environment that we'll play against, except our guys responded, didn't quit, didn't panic, so it's a big win for us.
Greg, we'll take 2 quick ones on Zoom so we can get Janai on.
Yep, Justin, you're up first, man.
Hey Bruce, after the game, Jalen said Chad kind of lit into the team at halftime, and Janai was asked as well, and he said whatever Chad said, he said it had to be said, and they really credited Chad for whatever he said at halftime. What kind of moment like that, not just for the game, but for the season, what does a moment like that potentially mean? Well,
You know what? This is their team. I've coached a lot of teams. I hope to coach a few more, and it's their team. And so one of the things that Chad did, I got out of the locker room pretty quickly. All I said was, hey, we want to win this game. We can't give them 44. But he's got my demeanor. And then Chad and Janai and the other guys, they said what needed to be said. And then we came in, we talked about the things we need to do, and they went out and players did it.
All right, we got one from Nathan King, too.
Bruce, you had talked about improving your three-point shooting after the Alabama and Mississippi State games. I believe you guys were in the 40s for most of the game tonight. I guess, what did you see out of the shot making there from the perimeter?
Well, I mean, I thought that it was that was good, and it was shared because, Jalen made one, Janai made one, Chris made one, Denver Trey made two, and Chad Baker made two, and Chad Baker made 3, and it was just Aiden got back and made a shot. Katie got one, so we shared it a little bit, and we took good shots. And the biggest thing that we didn't do is we didn't say, hey, we're going to go on the road and start playing differently. We're on the road, we're going to start playing differently. No, one thing that I did ask them to do, I thought, if you try and share it, and if you try to maybe make an extra pass a little bit, I was selling the inside out. I said, you know what, then maybe we might shoot a little better. That was about the only thing I did.